Hi everyone, it's Jillian again, and today I want to talk about funny amusement park / water park type stories. Because I miss amusement parks, and while some of them are open, I do not dare to go into them because I'm not a stupid person. And it's kind of the apocalypse and everything's on fire still, so here's to 2021, the year of hell, take 2, or part 2, depending on your viewpoint. Anyway, let's get on with the stories. There's a fairly good-sized water park fairly close to me. I'm gonna call it the Mountain Water Park. That is not its name. But Mountain Water Park is really good size and it keeps growing, which is awesome. I don't know that it did any growth last year, but who can blame them, right? It's always crowded. I mean, it's not usually packed to the gills, but it's usually pretty busy. There's some days that you can hit it where it's not as bad, usually earlier in the season when it's cold. But we went one time, my mom, my aunt, and I, during the 4th of July weekend. I don't think it was actually on the 4th, but it was like right around that time period. And oh my god, I have never been anywhere that has been so crowded. Like, you couldn't move in that water park. And it's an open air type water park. The wave pool is huge. There's slides. There's the lazy river that's good size. Everywhere you went was packed. We had a hard time finding 3 chairs together. And it was hot. Super duper, like 97 that day degree weather, and like you could cook an egg on the sidewalk probably. And anyway, we weren't there for very long, because we knew better and we were miserable. But we went in, which we usually like to stay around the wave pool. It's a good little hike from the entrance to the wave pool. Not like a mile walk or anything, but probably, if I had to guess, probably like 200 feet roughly, maybe a little bit more. It's not a huge amount, but it's still a decent little walk. And no longer than it took us to walk up to our usual spot, which had like shade and stuff, I had gotten quite a bit overheated, so I decided because I thought we were going to stay at least a little while. I went into the wave pool. I was like, I'm going to go to the wave pool, and my aunt was like, don't go under the water, it's too crowded right now. And I was like, okay. And so I just went into the water, and I wasn't in the wave pool for very long, like one session of waves, I guess. And it was so crowded that I got pushed underwater. Like, I had no intention on going underwater, but this person, I guess big man, shoved me or accidentally got into me, and I landed in the water. And luckily I'm at least confident swimmer. I'm not gonna say that if I got hit by a rip current that I wouldn't die, but I can at least get myself from the deep end to the shallow end. So I was more stunned, so it took me a second to pop back up. I was like, oh my god. And I immediately went out of the water because I didn't want to be pushed back underneath. I figured, okay, I can go to the lazy river, have me a tube, and have me a little bubble. That way it might still be crowded, but it's better than this. And as soon as I walked back over, my aunt's like, your mom and I were talking, do you care if we go home? And I was like, no, I don't care. I was almost drowned by a huge guy. And they're like, okay. And so we went home. But Lord, it was awful. There's another time at this water park. Right about this time period, I was like, from the time I was about 14 to 16, 17, I was really sensitive to heat anyway. Part of it was I had experienced like kind of a heat stroke when I was about 13. And so I was kind of oversensitive to it for a little bit. We were at the same water park, and again, it was super duper hot, and I almost got sick, and this, like, nice passerby came back. I must have looked awful. He gave me, like, some ice water, some kind of sport drink. I think it was, it was like the red one. And then he also gave me a pickle with some juice in it. Apparently pickles are really good for like when you're feeling upset to your stomach and or dehydrated. So who knew? Here's some amusement park stories. Now, one time my friend and I'm going to call her Claire because I think that's what I called her in a previous video. She and I have been friends since middle school. And anyway, we used to go pretty often to the local amusement park. And there's this ride, which is basically a fancy log flume ride. It's a bit longer, and then you splash down and it's wet. So I'm gonna call it Log Town. That is not the name of this ride, but we're gonna call it Log Town. We love this ride. We liked a lot of rides. There's one I'm gonna call Old Faithful, which is an older ride, and Log Town is one of our favorites. Again, not the real name of this thing. And we like a couple of the other some of the classics, I guess, who've been there a little while. There's this wooden roller coaster that we like, and then there's I think that's the only one that she likes some of the other ones, but that's like our favorite. And then they have another wooden roller coaster, and neither of us particularly liked it. Anyhow, Log Town, we went on it so much during one day that we were soaked. Like, the park was more or less dead. Like, it was one of those rare times where you could just turn around onto a ride and ride again. Like, no line, no waiting, no nothing. And the way the Log Town ride was, or is, unless they've changed the rules, if there was no line, you could stay put and just ride again. And we must have rode that thing at least 10 times in a row before we had to get out of that thing. And we were so soaked, but we were like, this is such a rare opportunity. Let's just enjoy it. And like, my friend's like, we probably shouldn't do that again. I was like, why not? And she's like, well, my shorts are stuck to my panties. And your white t-shirt is showing more than what I think you'd like. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Another time, another friend and I, I'm gonna call this friend Curly Q because our hair is really curly. Curly Q and I, we had season passes together for 2 or 3 years in a row, and we liked some of the same rides. She doesn't really like the wooden roller coaster. She says it's too rough. She likes a lot of the metal coasters, which I like most of them. Anyway, we went on Old Faithful. And this Old Faithful has been a part of the park since before it was that park. I'm gonna call the old park Miners Town, and the current park is called Local Park. Minor Park is defunct, but a lot of the stuff that is currently there is echoed through the local park, so it sort of honored Miners Town in a way and built upon it even more. And so Old Faithful was a part of that original park, and it's still there today, but because it's like 100 years old, it kind of breaks down sometimes and stuff. And we just happened to be on there when it broke down. Luckily, we were fairly close to the exit. This thing is underground, and it kind of goes on a few up and downhill type things. There's no upside downing or whatever to this ride. It's a roller coaster and stuff, and there's like animatronics, and it's a dark ride. And we were kind of scared that it was kind of acting up when we were like in the middle of the ride, but I guess momentum or whatever, it managed to get us fairly close to the exit. So we were really grateful. So it was a while before we rode it again. Anyway, I have a few more, so I might do a part 3. Let me know if y'all liked these stories, which one was your favorites. If y'all have a favorite, let me know. And let me know if you have any stories of your own. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all the other good jazz. And I hope you have a good one. Bye!